Hello, it's me, and I'm going to now address the answers to the two challenges that I gave. As you recall, one challenge was to solve this layer by layer, and I showed the specific way to do that, where we start off with the center, then move out to here, then move out to these centers, then we move to the center over here, and then just keep going round and around as we spin it through. The other is to solve it as a reduction to a 2x2, where I said that you can solve the first two layers any way that you wanted, but the last two layers, the last 2x2 blocks, had to be solved in AI strategy without any other movements aside from this movement, and this movement, but nothing like this, or this, or this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embark on the journey of showing how I did both challenges. However, what I'm going to do is the start off of both of those challenges is the same, which is a layer by layer solve of the first two layers. Because to do layer by layer, of course, you got to do the first two layers. But what I'd said is with the AI challenge, the 2x2 reduction, 4x4 to 2x2 reduction, you could get the first 4x4, 2x2 blocks any way that you want. So you could start off with an AI, so you can start off with a layer by layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first show how to do a layer by layer with the first two layers. And then from there, we're going to split off to show how to either finish it up with an AI reduction or continued layer by layer. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and scramble it. Abracadabra. Okay, what I really love about this puzzle is the variability. I talked about in my top 10 series what I meant by variability, but it means that there's so many different ways that you can solve this puzzle. That is something that you can pick up over and over again. You can do it by way of these challenges, you can do it by way of just the normal sequential reductive solve, so that's what's very entertaining about this. So we're going to embark on doing the first two layers of a layer by layer, and then see where that takes us. So in order to qualify for what we're talking about, the first thing that we want to do is just solve the inner 2x2, the first layer of the inner 2x2. So that's just like doing a 2x2. So I'll do the green side, green, white, and yellow, orange rather. So where's the other green and orange? It's actually here, so we're just going to move this over to here. So no worries. This one is the wrong green on that side, so I'm just going to take this and move it up to here. So it's got to be the correct green, which means that it's the correct 2x2 solve. So far nothing different from your normal sequential solve of this puzzle. Then put the other one in. Okay, that probably didn't mess anyone up too much. But now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to reduce the rest of this. Move these out, move these in over here. Now the way that you get a perspective with this puzzle is as you're moving the first layer over here, this doesn't really enter into the first layer of the 4x4 portion. This is like a real 2x2, 4x4, where you've got a 2x2 in here. These centers are centers of your 4x4 portion, but they're not centers on the top layer. These are actually the centers of your top layer. So by putting these in, it's like you're putting the centers of other layers of a 4x4 supercube. So that's what makes it a little bit challenging. It's almost like we're putting in half the layers of other areas of the 4x4. So starting off with this, well, we can actually just slide them in. For instance, starting off here, here's a green and orange. So I'm just going to go like boom. So this is the proper green and orange over here. This is green and white. So what I can do is just line it up where it's supposed to be, green and white, and just move it in here, bang. So this is correct. And I'm going to see if I can do that as many times as I can. Here's a green and yellow. So I'd like to move it into here, but it's going to knock this one out, so I can't do that. How about a green and orange? Well, here's a green and orange. So what I can do is, well, to move it in, this green and orange already belongs here. So this green and orange has to come up to over here. So what I can do is move this up like so. And now I can take this and just manually move it into here, boom, and now bring this back. So this is still in, I put this in, I put this in, I've got this that can also be moved. How about another green and orange right here, bang, move this in. So that's about as far as I can go without knocking anything else out. So what about this green and red? Okay, so find the green and red, and I find it, well, here's a green and orange, so maybe we can do that. Green and yellow rather. So this green and yellow belongs here. So how am I going to move this into here? So this is going to be a matter of, so I can move this any way that I want. This is going to be a matter of positioning. So I'm going to have to take this and move this green into here somehow. Actually, move it into here somehow. So what that's going to entail is I'm going to put it in this position. I'm going to take this, I want to move it right across from where it's supposed to be over here. So if I move it like this, I bat this out of the way, this can now move into here. And I'm going to do that with a sliding U technique. Now I got to be aware of what's going to be participating in the move. So if I move it over here, this is going to be participating in it. We don't want that. This is already in. So if I move this up here, I can move this into here, but I've got to take this out and move another piece in. So I'm going to just take this and replace this set with this over here. So instead of this, I'm just going to move this up. I just have to remember to reconstruct it and put this back down. So once I've moved this up here, this can come down to here, this will go here, rather, yeah, and this will go here. So what I'm going to do is move it in from here. Now I've got to take the center and move it out of the way, so I'm going to take it down like this. So slide it to the right, then move the middle down on the right. Slide it back to the left, move the middle back on the left, slide it back to the right, move the middle from the right, and then slide it back. So now it's in, I just have to reconstruct it. So this will now come back to here, and I put this back into here. So now this is where it needs to be over here. So how about this green and red? Where is that going to go? Well, this green and red is going to go, well, right over here. So it's just a matter of moving it into the proper position. It's going to have to go here, but it's not the correct green and red. It's not going to move in there. So instead, it's going to have to go here. So I can move this into here, and you can see this green and red here can slide into here to be over here. This does not. This will participate in the algorithm, but we don't care because it's not anything that is already moved in. So again, sliding U technique, and we're moving it from the middle as we're putting these outer centers in. So move it in from the right, and now I have to make sure that we move it out to the left. So we're going to be moving it here, then move it. We slid it to the left, then move the middle left out. Slide it back to the right, back from the right, slide it back to the left, back on the left, and then slide it back. And just like magic, it's in. So we're good. Now let's hunt around for other greens. Here's another green and red, which belongs over here. So this green and red is already in position. We don't care about this. So slide it in through the middle on the right, or left rather. Slide it back to the left, right. Keep messing that up, don't I? Slide it out on the right. Back to the left, back on the left, slide it back to the right, back on the right, move it in. So this is it. So I'm really just doing sequential sliding U techniques, making sure I have the correct layers in. So now I'm looking for the final green. Here's a green and white. This has to make it to this side over here. So I'm going to position this here, where if I move it with a 2L, this will come here and then here. So that's where it needs to be. So in this configuration, we go 2L, and then slide it to the right, 2R. Slide it to the left, 2L, slide it to the right, 2R, and this slides back. So now you have it. And you know you have it because these are also solved. Turns out these edges happen to come in two. How lucky are we? Now there's other types of conundrums that you might have. The whole key is to line this up. Sometimes you see this in the center here, or in the center area here. It's just a matter of lining it up. If in your trials and errors of trying to put this in, you have a configuration that confuses you, you can send me a picture and I'll show you how. So now the next part is we get these edges in. And again, this is sliding U technique. We just have to get the right layers. So for instance, here's a green and red. So this is going to come up to here. So we once again slide it in from the right. Now instead of moving it this way, we move it this way. Then slide it up on the left. Back to the right, down on the right, slide it back to the left, down on the left, and move it in. Now notice it did not take any of this out, but it did position this. Don't worry about this, that comes next. Remember, we're going from inward to outward. So we've got this, which goes to the orange side. So move it in on the right, slide it this way, not this way like we did with the centers here, but this way to the left, up on the left. Slide it back to the right, down on the right, slide it back on the left, down on the left. So you're making use of the variable layers and how you can make use of that. Anyone else here? Yeah, we've got this. This needs to come to here. So it's really the same thing. Up, slide it out to the right, up, back to the left, down, back to the right, down. So now these two are in. All right, we've got this, which is a yellow. So this is going to come up over here. Whoops. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so this will come up over here. Up, slide it to the right, up, down, turn, turn, turn. Sliding U technique. Anything else down here? Well, we've got a white one here. This will come up here. And it flows pretty evenly. Here's another red, which puts the remaining red one in, which is here. So far so good. No tricks here. Fairly easy stuff. Anyone else on the bottom? Nope. So now we want to move this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, simply move it to the bottom, bump it out of the way, move this back. Now we can just slide this back in to here, slide it up on the left, up here, same technique, nothing new, splat. So we're getting it. We have one more, and that's over here. So move it down. Now notice over here, I can't slide it up. I have to position it opposite, in this case, to go and do a 2R. So 2R, slide it to the left, 2L over here, slide it back to the right, 2R, slide it to the left, 2L, and kersplat. So now these are solved. All I've got to do is put in the corners, and the corners are the easiest part of the marathon, unless I make it hard. So I'm just doing RIDA, RDs to get that back in. Just move these in, just get this part out of the way. And kersplat. Okay, so now we have this part. Now I've got to move these guys in, but don't worry, it's the same sliding U technique, but we have to find the right pattern to move these and not move any of these guys out. These all had separate moves that, that we can use. So let's look for the orange and yellow. Orange and yellow. Now there's two oranges and yellow, so we just have to find the right one. Orange and yellow, orange and yellow. It might even be in this top layer. Yeah, it is. It is in this top layer. It's here, so I'm going to abandon that for now because I want to bump that out. It's going to be a little difficult. So let's find the yellow and red. Is the yellow and red here? It is, so we're kind of out of luck so far. All right, why don't we find the red and white? Red and white. Okay, here's a red and white over here. So this wants to make it to, is it the correct red and white? And the answer is no, because it can't slide into this position. There's no way to make that happen. So I need to find another red and white, which is over here. So I'm going to move this en masse and see how this is going to work. So this red and white can come up to here. So how is this sliding U technique going to work? Well, in this case, I'm going to move it up. You can see it's in place. Now, I'm once again going to move this part, and remember I moved it up from the middle because this is a middle piece. So I moved it up. Now I'm going to move it, slide it to the left. Now I have to move this middle piece up from the left. So up from the left. Slide it back to the right, then down on the right. Slide it back to the left, then down on the left. And take a look at that. Nothing was taken out over here, but you did place this one. All right, so far so good. How about that white and orange? Is that still up there? No, I think we bumped it out. Here's a white and orange. And here's a white and orange. So which one do we use? I think we have to use this one. We're going to move this behind here. So this is going to go all the way to here by going 2R. Then we slide it to the left. And from the middle, 2L. Slide it back to the right. 2R. Slide it back to the left. 2L. And bang, it's in. So notice all we're doing the same technique. We're just defining which layers we're moving. And as we separate the different layers, we're not taking out what we put in. So it's just a little bit of strategy, but no new algorithms. Orange and yellow. Orange and yellow, where are you? Right over here. Is it the correct one? This one is not, so I need another orange and yellow, which appears to be... I'm searching for orange and... Is it this one? Okay, so this orange and yellow needs to come into here. So yeah, that looks about right. So how are we going to position this to make that happen? Well, we may have to do some constructing and deconstructing. I'm going to move this back in here. Remember, we're only going to affect very specific pieces, just one other piece. So now this is next to here. If I move this into here and try to slide it into here, this will come here, this will come here. So this is going to participate. We don't want to move that out. So what I actually need to do is I need to move another piece into here. This one, well, maybe. Yeah, so this one is not in yet. So I'm just going to go over here. That's my last bit of deconstruction. I just have to remember to move it back. So this will come over to here. So down on the right, slide it to the left, down on the left, back to the right, up on the right, back to the left, up on the left, and then back. We have to have the faith that we didn't mess anything else up. I have to reconstruct it. This comes back in, and now we simply move this back in, and kersplat. Now that's it. We've got one more to go to finish up our first layer, and that's going to be orange, or rather yellow and red. Yellow and red, where are you? Yellow and red. Yellow and red? Yellow and red. So is it this one, or is it this one? Well, I think it's this one, because this can move 2 times into here, and this one will participate, but we don't care. So 2R, slide it to the left, 2L, back to the right, same pattern, and boom. And there you have it. Just by variable sliding U techniques, variating which layers and how you're lining it up and how you're deconstructing it, we've got the first layer. Second layer. Well, the good news about the second layer is by getting the first layer, you've already got these parts and you've already got these parts, because they're pretty much the same piece as this. They're not really, but pretty much functionally they are. So to slide these in, all you're going to do is turn it upside down, and using the beginner's technique, just put in the edge pieces here. So I've got this. This doesn't belong anywhere down here. How about this guy? Yeah, so this will come over to here. So this is the same as the beginner's technique in a Rubik's Cube in a 3x3. So to put this down into here, let's try that again. U-I-L-I, U-L, U-F, U-I-F-I. Pops it in here, does not destroy any of these. So you're good. So this is the easiest of the layers. This is like a nice little break, a nice little cognitive break. This will come into here. U-R, U-I-R-I, U-I-F-I, U-F. I move fast for that one because that's beginner's technique. I've got to assume that you already know that. This doesn't belong here. This comes down into here. Same beginner's algorithm. So the second layer is again just kind of a softer solve. This will come into here. Now, if I have the wrong one in here, if it's over here, I just move that into the place over here, bring it up here, and then move it down. That's if that happens. Turn, turn, and turn. So there you have it. First 2 layers of your layer by layer solve. Now, not only is this the first 2 layers of your layer by layer solve, but you've also got your first 4 2x2x2 blocks. So if I were to do something like this, you can see that these are 2x2 blocks, so that is the first part of your solve of your AI reduction. So from here, you've got a couple of choices of what you can do. And those choices from here is you can either continue with a layer by layer solve, or you can start to do the AI reduction. So which one shall I go into next? Shall we do the AI reduction, or shall we do a layer by layer solve by getting this layer in next and then this layer in next? Or should I just start doing the AI solve where I can't do this, where I can't do this move or this move, and can only do RID, RDs, and this move in order to get it in. But anyway, this is for the first 2 layers. Can you figure out the rest of the 2 challenges? From here, more to come.